When it comes to Decentraland's native token called Mana, there's three hypothetical price scenarios that I'm thinking about in my mind right now. And this is maybe even assuming, let's say, there is a fully fledged type of altcoin season during the cycle. However, even though nothing I say is financial advice, the first scenario that I do want to explore when it comes to Mana is maybe the idea of $4, which is around a 12x from here, and the market cap at that point, if we were to consider the current circulating supply, would be nearly 8 billion. And the reason why this wouldn't necessarily surprise me is because I still like the future of what the metaverse could maybe become, because when I think about Decentraland, I think about as being one of the most popular projects out there that is focused on the metaverse. Now, when I say this, sometimes you like to say, but, kind of the attention disappeared ever since 2021. Even though I agree that, there's not that much attention anymore when compared to back then, keep in mind, Mana is still a pretty massive project. I mean, in terms of market cap, it's still top 200. Not to mention as well, I think there is somewhat, maybe kind of this new energy, I would arguably say, when it comes to Decentraland through Decentraland 2.0, the beta, right? The Decentraland 2.0 beta, I think, is bringing more, energy again overall when it comes to Decentraland as a project. And again, when it just comes to this sort of metaverse niche, I would say this sector, Decentraland arguably is still one of the most popular ones out there, so I still do like it. Even according to McKinsey, they predict that the metaverse could reach up to $5 trillion in value by 2030. I mean, that's pretty impressive if it could ever reach that. So I still think that there is maybe a future here, only time will tell. However, I still do like the position in which Decentraland is in. So overall, let's say arguably there is a fully fledged type of altcoin season during this cycle. The idea of Mana, which is Decentraland's native token, at the idea of $4, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me. Now, when I take a look at the second hypothetical price scenario, that is maybe the idea of $4.50, it's around a 13.5x from here, and the market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, would be nearly $9 billion. I've seen Shiba Inu reach around 40 billion back in 2021. I've seen Dogecoin reach over 80 billion that year as well, and I'm talking in terms of market cap. This doesn't seem like too outlandish to me, especially when I consider again how Decentraland is still arguably one of the most popular projects out there that are focused on the metaverse. Again, this is just my thoughts though. However, only time will tell, but that market cap just doesn't seem too outlandish to me, but this is just my perspective. However, the third and final hypothetical price scenario I want to take a look at is maybe the idea of $5, around a 15x from here, and the market cap at that point would be nearly 10 billion if we were to consider the current circulating supply of Mana. However, to me, I think there are factors right now that I do like when compared to back in 2021. Like for instance, during the peak of that bull run, there was around 300 million crypto owners. We fast forward to today, there are supposedly over 600 million, which is supposedly more than ever before in history. So I find that pretty impressive. And also, I take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF. I just kind of like the whole vibe overall right now when compared to back then. If let's say there is a fully fledged type of altcoin season, the idea of $5 when it comes to Mana wouldn't necessarily surprise me. However, to me, I will not be able to know the exact time things do this or do that. Like I have no control over the market. The only thing I can do is control myself, which is just by me, dollar cost averaging, holding, and just waiting, and that's pretty much about it. I mean, beyond that, I cannot control whether or not, the altcoin space does this or does that. So whenever it even ever decides to happen, be it next month or in November or in December or even Q1 of next year in 2026, like in January, February, or March, or somewhere along, that Q1 time frame of 2026. Again, whenever that timeline is, the only thing I can control is myself. So that's what I'm going to do. Again, just staying patient and just waiting, because I treat it like a waiting game, really. It's just a patience game, the way you take a look at it. I'm not telling anyone to do anything when it comes to Mana, Decentraland's native token, but the only thing I can do is just stay patient, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to hold and just dollar cost average, and that's pretty much about it. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.